moderator of The Hill on News Nation, Blake Burman. Blake, it's great to see you. A lot happening in the political world, to say the least. First, let's just talk about this VP pick. So now word that Trump has made his selection, although it will be announced once the convention starts. But kind of walk us through some of these potential contenders, as well as the fact that Nikki Haley has now been invited to speak there. She accepted the invitation. I mean, is it possible she could be in the running as well?
So a couple things here, Nichole. First off, yes, the pick is in, but we also now can tell you that we expect this to start playing out somewhere around 4:30 here on the East Coast. So a couple hours from now, all of this should be unfolded, and the first images of Donald Trump and his vice presidential nominee should be coming out around then. Look, we have been talking about this for months, Nichole. We expected an apprentice VP edition, and this is exactly what we are getting out of Donald Trump. It's a little bit different from last go around. In 2016, you might remember back in Cleveland, there was the helicopter that landed, and Donald Trump showed up with Mike Pence, and we had a much better idea going into the convention who it was going to be at that point in time, Pence. Right now at 2:12 here on the East Coast, with the two set to appear in about 2 hours and 15 minutes, give or take, there's still nothing official coming out of Trump world as to who exactly this may or may not be. And you have to wonder, Nichole, if the events of the past, what are we now, 44 hours almost to the minute, how that may or may not have factored into the former president's decision, how that may or may not have changed things.
I mean, is this level of anticipation usual? Is it normal? I mean, is this what we usually see? Because I do feel it does seem to be heightened this time around.
Yeah. I remember standing in Cleveland in 2016, and Trump's helicopter flew above us and landed, and there was Donald Trump and Melania and Mike Pence and his wife with him. We knew going into it that it was going to be Mike Pence that time around. This is much different than what we experienced then. We thought it was pretty dramatic last time. But, here we are, Nichole, 2 hours, and the names, there are reports out there at this hour that Reuters is reporting at this hour that Marco Rubio has been told that it's not going to be him. Could it be J.D. Vance, Doug Burgum, someone else that is entirely not on that list? We're going to see here from Donald Trump in the upcoming couple hours.
Yeah, there was the caravan that went to pick up J.D. Vance, so that has people speculating as well. Blake, I want to talk to you about other big news happening today. The judge dismissing the former president's classified documents case.
Yeah.
What is the reaction there in Washington?
It is partisan, as you might imagine, even at this point in time. Look, Nichole, the reality is, the political reality is, we know that Donald Trump, at least as of now, is set to be sentenced in the New York case at the end of September. The Georgia state case is essentially on hold at this point in time. The Washington, D.C. election interference case is, who knows the status of that, and the Florida case is done. There were many Democrats who were hoping that there would be multiple cases, multiple verdicts at this point in time, multiple convictions, quite frankly, from Democrats at this point in time. And the reality is there is most likely only going to be one, that New York case. And when you talk to most legal experts, they do not expect anything severe coming Donald Trump's way. What might the judge in that case decide to do? I don't know. We'll find out at the end of September. But to say that this is the best case scenario for Donald Trump on the legal front, I'm not sure that we're in best case scenario land, because obviously he would have liked the New York case to have gone away, but it's pretty close to that at this point in time.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.